Hello. Hello, Shivam.
Yeah, live है हम लोग स्क्रीन शेयर कर रहा हूँ.
We're live. Is the voice okay? Okay, sure. An introductory lecture covering the basics of Git and Bash. Hello. So whoever have joined the stream, they can also inform their friends so that they can join faster. We'll wait for like 5 more minutes max, and then we'll start with the lecture. So kindly tell them to join. Okay, so let's start. Whoever will join will cope up with us. Uh, okay. So, good evening, Y21. And we are here to take an introductory lecture covering the basics of Git and Bash. As I said, this session is divided into two parts. We'll start with Bash, and which will be followed by Git. The second part will be taken by Shivam, and I, Het Patel, will take the first part. Okay, so let me share my screen. Also, I'll be introducing you some with some few shortcuts amidst the first session, which would enhance your experience with Bash. So kindly listen carefully, which are the keyboard shortcuts which you can use so that you can easily write commands in Bash. Okay. Let us kickstart this lecture by introducing you people with some basic commands of Bash so that you can get well acquainted with the command line interface. Bash is a short form for Born Again Shell, which is an enhanced replacement of the original Unix shell program. But what is a shell? So basically, the shell is a program that takes keyboard commands and passes them to the operating system to carry out those commands. Almost all Linux distributions supply a shell program from the GNU project called Bash. So these are all fancy terms which you might have not heard, but the whole basic idea is it is a shell which helps you to easily work with your machine, with your local machine. And those who want to practice along with the lecture or even in future, you either need a Linux operating system on your PC, or if you have a Mac, then the terminal is inbuilt, so there you can write the Bash commands and easily operate. Okay. So Bash has a huge variety of commands, and we are only going to discuss the important ones and the frequently used ones. Let us start with some very basic commands. Like if you want to look at the date, so just type date on the terminal, and it will show the date Thursday, March 31st. Oh, so sorry. Hello. Am I audible now? Hello.
Yeah, audible.
Hello? Okay, okay. Sorry for that. I think there's some problem in my PC. So, from which part I was inaudible? Shivam?
Yeah, audible from my side now.
But from where, from which command I was inaudible?
Actually, that CD command.
Okay. Okay, sure. I'll start with that. Okay, so here we are. Let me increase the font size so that you can easily see the commands. Okay, cool. So let me repeat the commands for finding the free memory on your PC on the hard disk. Uh, you can just press DF and then you can see the available memory on your PC. And for printing random text, you just have to write echo and write the text what you want to print. Like say I want to print hello world and it prints hello world. There you go. So these are a very few basic commands that are used in Bash, but these are not the important ones. The important ones are to play with the directories and the files and file systems. So let me introduce you with some a basic structure. You all must know what a folder is, right? So you can just take analogy that a directory is a folder and there is a whole rooted tree structure in your computer starting with the parent directory or the root directory. So let me do one thing. I'll use the command pwd, which stands for printing working directory. Currently you are in a terminal in some particular directory. So if you write the command pwd, it will show you in which directory you currently are. It says users hate patel 20, which is my root directory on my PC. Okay. So what if I want to change my directory? So for that we have a command called cd. Let's change the directory to some other directory. Let's say in my directory I have a subdirectory which is desktop. So let me write cd space whatever my subdirectory is, say desktop. Bingo. Now my current working directory is desktop. Let me check whether I have reached my current working directory. So I'll again write pwd and press enter. So here it shows users hate patel 20 and desktop. So this is how you can change the directories using the command cd. Okay, but if I am lazy enough and I just don't want to type the entire thing, I just want to directly jump to my parent directory without writing the whole address or the name or the location of the directory. So initially I was at Hed Patel 20, then I changed my directory to desktop. Now I again want to go to my root directory, that is Hed Patel 20. So all I have to do is write cd and two dots. In bash, two dots represents the parent directory, so it will automatically replace the two dots with the address of the parent directory. If I press enter, then there you go, again I am in my root directory. So these are a few short keys where you can save time instead of writing the whole addresses. Okay, so let's go a more level deeper. Let's change my directory again to desktop and in that I'll go to the folder which is right beside here, demo bash. Okay. So again, let me confirm whether I have reached demo bash, print working directory. Okay, so it shows users Hit Patel 20 desktop demo bash. Okay. Now there is another fun command here to save time. Let's say uh, before this command, whatever directory I was. So for example, right now I am in demo bash, and previously I was in desktop. Now I want to go to the directory where I was on the previous command. Say from demo bash, I want to go to desktop. So just write cd space dash. Dash represents the address of that directory which I was just by changing the last cd. So understand it as there are a list of commands, and the last command which was cd where I had changed the directory, it will go to that directory. So if I do cd dash, the demo bash will change to desktop. Okay, but now again I want to go to demo bash. So the same principle, just write cd and dash. So now desktop will change to demo bash. So this is a very handy command which you can use whenever you want to flip between two directories once in a while. Okay, so now we have reached demo bash. Now let me add on some few commands. Let's say we are in a directory and we want to look at the list of the items that are present in a directory. For example, a folder has many folders or files. So I want to get the names of those folders and files. So currently my working directory is demo bash. I just write ls, which stands for list, and press enter, and it will show me the contents of the directory demo bash. So the demo bash folder, as you can see here, contains two subfolders, demo 1 and demo 2. Okay, but I just do not want to get the names. I want the exact uh, long information, that when was the file created. Like it's written over here. Demo 1 was created at 6 8 p.m. Demo 2 was created yesterday, and so on. So if I want to see that information on my terminal, I have to just extend this command ls space dash L. Dash L stands for long format. So it will directly show you the last date of updation of the file and the memory allocation. So let's see what's the result. So look at here. Here, this shows the number of bytes. This shows the date and time of updation and so on. So this command is used when you want the exact details of the contents of the directory. Okay. So let's take up a fun command over here in between. Let's say I'm a very lazy guy and I don't want to type so many texts, so many letters on terminal. I just want to create my own custom shortcuts. So there is a command called alias which you can use to create shortcuts. For example, for this command, let's say ls dash l. I don't want to type the whole thing. I just want to type ll. So what I'll do is I'll write alias ll equal to inverted commas and the command which I want to replace this text with, and press enter. Okay. So now let's execute this alias, that is our old custom shortcut. Just type ll, press enter, bingo. So here you can see that the same command was executed but with our own custom shortcut. But also note that whenever you create shortcuts, it is just for a particular session of terminal. Whenever you just stop the terminal and start a new one, these shortcuts won't be remembered. So you every time have to create these shortcuts while working in a terminal. Okay, so moving on. Let's say you want to create a file. Normally, if you, for example, if you want to create a text file, all you do is go to Notepad or any text editor and create a new file and then save it on your desired location. What if I want to create a file from a terminal? So let me do one thing. Let me go to a next directory over here and show you one example. Okay, so let's go to demo one over here too. Okay, so I want to create a text file over here. For creating files in terminal, the bash has the command touch. So we'll type touch and write the name of the file. Let's say I want to create a file naming temp.txt and I'll press enter. So you can see as soon as I pressed enter, this created a new file called temp.txt over here. Also, the interesting fact is even you can edit your file in a terminal, but since we are keeping this session a little basic, so I'll not go deeper into that. But it's very good to know that you can edit and create files and even modify files in the terminal. Okay. So let's say we know how to create files using terminal. What about folders? If I want to create a folder using my terminal, so in my folder demo 1, I have 3 folders over here: directory 1, directory 2, and directory 3. Let's say I want to create another directory naming directory 4. So you can't use touch to create directories. Note that touch is used to create files. For creating directories, we have another command called make directory, and the command is mkdir. So just type mkdir and write the name of the directory. For our own instance, here we are making directory 4. So I'll write dir 4, press enter. So you can see over here a directory is created, dir4. So you can get a feel that how easy it becomes when you use terminal. It's the terminal and the bash commands make you a far more closer to your machine. Okay, so let's say you have another situation which you want to perform using terminals. I want to copy a file into another file. Let me open, let's say, first.txt. So this is my first.txt file, and here it's written programming club is the best and talk is cheap, show me the code, and these all stuff. And I have another file over here which is temp.txt, which we just created, which is an empty text file. Okay, so I want to copy the contents of this text file into this text file. So what normally we do is just select Control C and paste it over here. But if we want to do the same function using terminal, all you have to do is write CP, which stands for copy, the contents which you have to copy. So here we have first.txt and the name of the file where the contents have to be copied, which is temp.txt, and press enter. Okay. So now let us see whether it's updated. Close it and again open it. Okay, so here you can see the contents of first file are copied into the second file. So this is a smooth way to copy contents of one file into another file. Now, there is one more important note that you can take over here. Let's say I write some haywire name. For example, copy the contents of first.txt into some random file which does not even exist in the directory. Let's say it's maybe fourth.txt. Now we know that fourth.txt is not even exist. Fourth.txt does not even exist in our current working directory. But this command will execute, and let's see what happens. Okay, so now you can see a file is created naming fourth.txt, and it has the contents of first.txt. So these are few good examples how you can copy, create, and play with the files and directories and so on. Now you know how to create a file. Let's say how to remove a file. We can even remove a file using terminal. The command is rm space the name of the file. Let's say we want to remove fourth.txt. So we'll write fourth.txt. Also, a very important point I want to clarify here. Uh, we need not need to type the entire name. Let's say I'll write FOUR. And when I click on the tab key, it will automatically complete the name. This is a very important shortcut which you will regularly use if you use bash and linux commands. All you need to do is to write a few letters and press tab. It will automatically recognize the name and complete it for you. Okay, so you can see here fourth.txt is removed from our working directory. Okay, so let's say if I want to copy I want to copy a file and move it into another directory. So let me write the command and show you. Let's say cp first.txt, and I'll write a name of a directory. Let's say dir1. Let's see what happens. In dir1, first.txt is copied. So you can copy a file and move it to another folder using these commands. Now, let's say if I want to copy a folder into a folder, what should I do? You can't write cp dir1 and dir2. This won't work. For copying a directory into another directory, you need to use a specific command over here, cp-r. So let's see what happens. We'll copy directory 4, let's say, into directory 3 and press enter. Let's see what happens. Directory 4 is here, and in directory 3, we have directory 4. So it has copied directory 4 into directory 3. Okay. You must have been heard of cut. So let's take set an analogy. Here CP stands for copy and MV stands for cut. Like I want to cut a file and paste it in a folder. Let's perform this. We'll write MV and second .txt, and I'll move this file into a particular directory. So that file will disappear from the working directory and it will move to another directory. Let's say directory 2. Hello.
Yeah, audible. Continue.
I'm extremely sorry. There's some issue in the internet. There's some issue in the internet over here. So I was disconnected in between. My screen's visible, right?
Yeah, visible.
Apologies, guys. There's a bit issue in the internet over here. So let me move on. Where was I? Okay. So you can use the manual and all stuff. Also note, while writing commands in bash, the two most important shortcuts, one I already told you, tab command. Write half the name of the file or directory and press tab, it will automatically recognize. And another command which I haven't told you and is very important, use the up arrow key. The up arrow key on your keypad is the most widely used shortcut in bash. Just press it, it will show the previous commands one by one. We used man command, then we used move second.txt, and so on. And press down arrow key to go down. It's just like a ladder and it's a very smooth functionality. So you must need to remember these two shortcuts. Okay, so let me introduce you a few advanced commands. Not advanced, but a little complex. So just stay with me. So I just want to print the contents of first.txt on my terminal. So all I need to do is write cat first, press tab and press enter. So it shows the contents. Programming club is the best, which we already looked over here. Okay, so I have few repetitions over here. You can look that the first, third, and fourth line are the same, and the second and the fifth line are the same. So what if I want to sort them so that the same lines are in a single bunch? So let me show you that. Just repeat the first command and use a vertical bar. The vertical bar stands for redirection, not redirection, but a pipeline, which is a complex thing which you might understand, but you just take it in a way that the output of the previous command is taken as the argument of the next command. So here the previous command is cat first.txt, and the next command is, let's say we want to sort this. So I'll just write sort and press enter. So you can see it has sorted. The three similar lines are over here, and the two another pair of similar text lines are here in the fourth and fifth line. So these are a few functionalities which you can use. Also, there is another important functionality. Let's say I want to search a bunch of strings. So I'll use the same command, just press up arrow key, so it will come here. And the cat first.txt will show the text and it will be taken as argument. And I'll use a command called grep. Here, what grep does is it searches the strings. So let's say, uh, what would I write? Let's say grep space uh, programming club is the best. Let's search whether this string is present or not. So it shows the lines where this particular string is present. So you can see here programming club is the best is present in first, third and fourth line. So it will print those lines. Now let's make some changes so that we can get a bit more clarification. I'll just write some random text over here and see what happens. Just a random bunch of letters and save it. Okay, so now let us repeat the same command and see what just happens over here. and press enter. Okay, so you can see what exactly the function grep is doing is searching for the string programming club is the best in the file first.txt and printing those lines where the particular string is present. Okay, so we are done with enough of the commands of bash. These were the most widely used commands. Now I would like to uh, switch off my screen. Shivam, am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah, so now you can go ahead with your session of Git.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Sayed, I'm continuing.
Okay, cool.
Tell me if it's visible, my screen.
Not yet. Yeah, hello, Shivam. Yeah, it's visible. The
Also,
screen's
also
visible.
tell if I'm audible. Also tell if I'm audible on. Hello.
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So let's just start with the introduction to Git and GitHub part of this lecture. So if you want to start with the web development and need to learn about Git and GitHub, or if you are working on a project and need to collaborate with your team members or friends, you pretty much need to know how to use Git and GitHub if you seriously want to deep dive into this tech field. So the index of today's lecture are I will be talking about Git introduction and workflow, some of the Git commands, the GitHub introduction and workflow, the Git commands used for the GitHub, and the last one is about hosting your web page on GitHub. Like I want to add on this, frankly speaking, getting familiar with Git and GitHub is not that complicated as it may look. You don't need to be some kind of master coder or anything like that to start learning Git. So it's like really basic for everyone. So the first question arises, what is Git? So it's a version control system. And what is now version control system? So version control system is a system that records changes to a file or set of files over time so that you can recall and revert to any specific versions later. Uh, So now, like, have you ever faced some of these problems? Like, if you had made a change to code, realized it was a mistake and wanted to revert back, or if you ever lost code or had a backup that was too old, or if you had to maintain multiple versions of a software or a product, if you have ever wanted to see the difference between two or more versions of your code, if you wanted to prove that a particular change broke or fixed a piece of code, if you ever faced wanted to submit a change to someone else's code, or if you ever wanted to review the history of some code, if you ever wanted to share your code or let other people work on your code and wanted to experiment with a new feature without interfering with working code, or if you wanted to see how much work is being done and where, when, and by whom. So, why VCS is important? So, what VCS does is that VCS take care of all the mentioned above problems and much more. Every VCS has a concept of commits or snapshot, which basically it keeps tracks of records of all the changes done into your project or software. So using these commits or snapshot, one can easily recall and revert back to any specific previous state, or you can compare code changes with the previous state and other much more things. Version control system also helps software teams work faster and smarter. They are especially useful for developer operational teams since they help them to reduce development time and increase successful deployments. Version control software also keeps tracks of every modification to the code in a special kind of a database. If a mistake is made, developers can turn back the clock and compare earlier versions of the code to help fix the mistake while minimizing disruption to all team members. So why Git? Basically, Git is a free and open source software. It is a decentralized and distributed system. Basically, it means that multiple people can work on same project without being in the same network. It uses a snapshot or commit approach. It has also a offline Git history and a very popular, widely used and accepted as a standard version control system by most of the people in developers community. Some of the other version control systems are Apache Subversion and Mercurial. Also, I want to add on this like Git is like a social network for your projects. In this, repositories or short form repos can be made public so that anyone can submit a commit and help make your project better. Uh, Git uses checksums to secure your data. So this makes it impossible to make changes to the data without getting a whiff of it. Now coming to the workflow of Git, if you initialize an empty Git repository in any directory, it basically divides your project into three parts. These three parts are the first one, the working tree or the structure of your code. The second one is the staging area, which includes the types of state, which involves committed, modified, and stage state. And the third one is the Git repository. After this, like you can create any number of commits of your project as checkpoints or snapshots where you can revert back to in future time. Now, what is the working tree? So the working tree is a project directory or a code structure that we can see in our repo. It tracks or Git tracks all the files we add, delete, or edit there. And now what is the staging area? So staging area is like we move files that we actually want to save in a commit to the staging area using git add command. Staging area is for reviewing files to prevent from committing unnecessary files. Apart from grid, most pieces doesn't have this special intermediary step in like a stage area. So staging areas also include three types of state that are like committed state. So what happens in a committed state is like a file in the also I like wait a Git repository. So this is the .git directory where Git stores all the project information. This directory also contains the implementation details as to how you worked under this hood. And if you delete this Git directory, you will basically lose all your project history, all the commits or snapshot you have made during the changing your code. So, there are basically three states. The modified state, the committed state. So, modified state is a file in the modified state has some changes made to it, but it's not yet saved. This means that the state of the file has been altered from its previous state in the committed state. What happens in the committed state? Committed state in the file is a committed state when all the changes made to the file have been saved in the local repository or folder. Files in the committed stages are files ready to be pushed to the remote repo or from your local repo. The remote repo can be on GitHub or any other code storing platform. And the stage state is a file in stage. It means it is ready to be committed. In this state, all necessary changes have been made. So the next step is to move to the file to the commit state. Now we move towards to the git commands. So the first command we want to talk over is git init. So this is the basically the starting command which can convert your normal directory or folder into a git repository. If you like go into a folder by seeding into it and then you start with git init, then it will convert your directory into a git repository. So what it does is like it creates a hidden directory under this your repo, which is called as .git. This directory basically consists of objects and reference that Git uses to maintain your project history. So what are the commands for this? The command for this is git init. It basically transforms the current directory into a Git repository. Git init directory. So git init directory transforms a directory in the current path into a Git repository. Now the second command I want to talk over is git status. This command shows the current state of your git working directory and staging area. The command used for this are git status and git status s. Now the third command is git add. So this command adds new or change the include which also include the deleted files to the git staging area. The command in this are git add file name, the basically you file that you want to move towards the staging area as we talked before. Also the second command is git add path. So path is basically you need to add the path of the repo or the file folder you want to add in this committed state. It puts the directory or file into a staging area. Now the third command is git commit. Git commit basically captures a snapshot or commit of the project's currently state changes. Commit or snapshot includes lots of data such as contents, message, author, timestamp, etc. The command for git commit is git commit uh, -m. Please leave your message for the commit. So the M stands for the message command, and please leave your message for the commit. You can add a commit a message on this, like you updated something or you changed something in the code. So you can add in this double quotation that could be like read by other users to get an idea what changes you have made to the code. So the next command is git log. This command helps to list the commits in reverse chronological order. So the commands for git logs are uh, git log, git log in one line, git log as a whole status, and git log for since 1 month ago. So it returns the 1 month ago log for them. Now we move towards the branching in Git. So Git branch operates branching operations such as list, delete, and creates branches in the repository. The commands in branching in Git are git branch, git branch feature one. The feature one is the name of the branch you want to make or create. The next one is the git branch D feature one. The next one is the git checkout. It basically helps to switch between branches. Like if you want to change to the feature one branch, then you need to type git checkout feature one on the terminal or whatever you think typing it to. Like if you want to change into a branch name, let's say your working code. So the code for the command for that would be git checkout working code. Now we move towards the GitHub. So GitHub was founded in 2008 and it is the largest and the most famous platform to host Git code repositories. It allows collaboration with anyone online. Now the first main thing, the most doubt we have ever seen, like Git is not equal to GitHub. You do not need GitHub to use Git, but you cannot use GitHub without using Git. The other extra functionalities on top of Git which Gits have added are it has a great user interface. It also includes pull requests. It includes documentation for softwares or projects or codes. It includes bug tracking and it includes feature requests and many more things. Now we move towards the Git commands for GitHub. So we basically in this lecture we will talk about four basic commands for GitHub we generally use. So these four commands are git clone, git remote, git push, and git pull. So git clone. So this git clone commands help to copy a basically specific repository to your local repository to your local PC. The commands for is git clone, and you need to enter the link to the which you can copy from the GitHub platform. Uh, like in this case, we are cloning. I am cloning student search software of P Club IIT. Now, as we move towards the Git remote helps to maintain connections with other repositories. It basically serves as a convenient names of not so convenient URL. The commands for git remote is git remote v and git remote add origin and then it includes the link to the that you want to add over the. Now git push basically uploads your local branches to the corresponding remote branches. The commands for git push are git push origin or git push origin master. Now git pull. Git pull updates your local working branches from the corresponding remote branches. So command for git pull is git pull origin master. So like if there is some changes on the remote or GitHub platform, then if you want to pull that changes into your local repository or the repo you are have in your PC, so you need to enter git pull origin or git pull origin master command to get that changes into your local repository. Now, I will move towards hosting your web page on GitHub. Tell me, Hed, if it's visual. Yeah, Hed. Hello.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's visible.
My
Hello.
can you see the web page hosting repo on GitHub? Hello.
Yes.
Can you
Hello.
see the web page hosting repo on my GitHub?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, I can. I think your screen is hanged. Now, yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you can see. Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so you can see the web page hosting repo on my GitHub, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
It's visible.
So the next thing we want to add how to host a web page. Like this is my repo web page hosting, which is named as web page hosting. And how to create a repo from GitHub, you just need to click on this plus command and then go to new repository. Then you basically need to enter the name of the repository you want to create. So like I added a web page hosting repo on this my GitHub ID, which basically contains the two files. One is the readme.md. It's a markdown file which contains the basic documentation of all the projects or software you work upon. And the second one is the index.html file, which is a basically a HTML file used to create like websites. So as I will be telling about the how to host a web page. So like to host a web page, you first need to go to the settings section and then you need to go to the pages section from here. Now, now the next thing you need to do is you need to go their source section and you need to go select the branch you want to work upon. Like right now I have just one branch, the main branch. So I'm just selecting that main branch and now you just need to save this. As this one is refreshed, now you can see that your site is ready to be published at this link. So if you like open this link, you will get to know whatever you have made into changes into the index.html. So this way you can host your web page on GitHub. Like you can use the GitHub Pages feature of GitHub. Okay, so like we want to end up here, and if you have any question, you can ask in the chat box of Zoom, YouTube.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Uh, I just wanted to add one more point. I think due to less font size, if the students who are watching the bash session have not been able to see, so I will just scroll all the previous commands. So I'm just sharing my screen for a few minutes so that they can see all the commands clearly. My screen's visible, right? Hello.
Yeah, visible here. You can continue.
Okay, so I'll just revise all the commands. We first used date command for knowing the date, cal for calendar, df for finding the free allocation, memory allocation in our disk drives on our PC, echo for printing, and pwd for printing the current working directory, cd for changing the directory, cd dot dot for going to the parent directory, cd name of the directory to go to that particular folder, cd dash for going to the directory previous to this in the command line, and ls for listing all the contents of the directories, lsl for doing the same function but in a long format where you can see all these subtle details, creating our own custom shortcuts using alias. For example, here we used ll, which would be replaced by ls.l, and we saw that it worked correctly. The touch command for creating new files, the mkdir command for creating new directories, cp which copies the contents of first of the file, and using grep for searching string, etc. So I'll just scroll the screen so that everyone can see the command once again, increasing the font size. Okay. So thank you guys for listening to our lecture. These were a few basic utilities that in future you might learn or you might not, but in the realm of programming, these are the most important features, most important softwares which you need to learn. And for exploring bash, there are various huge amount of material available on even on internet, and you can go and explore it. Now now
Just
Shivam.
wait a minute. Also, I want to add on this, like we will be sharing the slides we made on. Also, I will be giving one assignment on Git and Bash to you guys by tomorrow. So I will be sharing that assignment in Hatch Y20, like Y21 channel in our Discord server, P Club server. Yeah, hey.
Yeah, so the assignment part, yes. So yeah, it's all done. So we'll end the lecture over here. Again, thank you guys for listening and cooperating with us. Have a nice day. Goodbye.